Today we're going to be showing you a full features guide of the iPhone 5S. Hey guys, what's up? It's Our Mathfind here. Today I'm going to be doing a full features guide of the iPhone 5S. We're going to get really in-depth about all of the great features, stock apps, and all the settings that are available in the iPhone 5S. Now, this video is mainly geared towards beginners and people who want to learn a little bit more about their iPhone because advanced users probably know a lot of this stuff already. This is mainly geared towards people who maybe switched over from Android or this is their first smartphone and they really need to know their way around iOS and their way around the iPhone. So this is going to be more for the beginner guys, but advanced users, be sure to check out my iOS 7 hidden features. You can find a lot of stuff you might not already know over there. So without further ado, let's get started on the iPhone 5S Features Guide. First, we want to show you a little bit around the iPhone 5S before we get into the internals. If you take a look at the left side, you can see we have a volume rocker. We've got the up and down volume and also a mute switch. To mute your audio, all you have to do is push the switch backwards and you can see a little red area. To bring it back into audio, you just push it forwards until you can no longer see the red. Now we have our front-facing camera and also our speaker. In the back, we have our rear-facing camera and our 2 LED flash. Now if you take a look at the bottom of the phone, you do have your lightning connector area where you can just plug in your lightning connector. We'll show you how you do that in just a second. We also have our headphone jack and our speakers. Now up at the top, we've got the power button. This is just going to turn on your phone. And at the bottom, we have our home button, which also doubles as our fingerprint scanner. To plug in your lightning connector, take the end of your connector cable like this. What you're going to do is just plug it into the bottom right here. Then you can take the other end and either plug it into your computer's USB, or you can just plug it directly into the wall mount, which you can just plug right into the wall. Just make sure you get it perfectly aligned. There we go, and that's how to plug in the lightning connector. It can flip either way. And then, to plug in your headphone, you're just going to take in any of your headphones or your Apple EarPods that come provided, and you're just going to put it into the headphone jack, just like so. Push it all the way down, and there you go, you've got your headphones in. Now what we're going to do is take a look at some of the internal features of the iPhone 5S. Let's get started. So all you gotta do to turn your phone on is just press the power button. As you can see here, we do have iOS 7 running, and if you tilt your phone just a little bit, you can actually see the text actually kind of moves along with it to provide a false 3D sense. That's pretty cool. I'm gonna be showing you how to set up the Touch ID in just a second, but I wanted to show you a couple things right here from the lock screen. Now you can slide to unlock if you don't want to use your Touch ID, which we'll show you how to set up in just a second. But the other cool things that you can do is you have to swipe up from the bottom over here, from the bottom right, and you're going to access the camera, which you can use to take photos. It takes really great photos on the iPhone 5S. We'll get a little bit more into the camera a little bit later. But when you're back over here, you can also access the control panel, which we'll tell you about in just a second. Just by swiping up from the bottom, you can access all of your controls from the control panel. And just by swiping down, you can activate your notification center, which we'll also show you about in just a little second. But first, let's get Touch ID set up so we can show you how to do some of these things. You're going to go into Settings. You're going to go to General. You are going to go to Passcode and Fingerprint. Turn passcode on. Now you want to set up a recovery passcode in case anything happens. Maybe it can't scan your fingerprint because something malfunctions, you get a cut on your finger, that kind of thing. So I'm just going to use 1234 as an example. You can also use a longer passcode if you want. To do that, you would just disable simple passcode. Now you can choose when you want to require your passcode. I always choose immediately, and I think that's the best option. Otherwise, you could let people onto your phone without requiring the passcode. And you can choose which options you want to be able to use when locked, whether you want to use Siri, Passbook, or Reply with Message. So you're going to go into Fingerprints. I'm going to click Add a Fingerprint, and this is how to add a fingerprint to the iPhone 5S. So all you got to do is you just got to hold your thumb down, and you're going to push it multiple times. So you're going to feel a little vibration. You're just going to keep doing this until the fingerprint fills in all the way. So you just got to keep going. And then you're going to adjust your grip, and you want to get the edges of your finger now. So you want to get the rest of the finger that you didn't get before. So you're going to kind of push forward as opposed to pushing like that. You're going to push forward, and that's going to get the rest of your fingers. You also want to get the bottom of your fingers as well. And it's not going to finish until it gets your entire fingerprint, so don't worry, you're not going to do it wrong, but just it's easier to do it faster if you follow those directions. Then you can choose which features you want to enable: passcode unlock, which is the one that's automatically enabled, and also iTunes and App Store. So if you want to be able to purchase things with your fingerprint, you can enable that once you put in an Apple ID. Now you can add additional fingerprints using the exact same method. You can also name them. So what I like to do is name them with my specific finger so I know which one it is. Especially if you have other people, you don't want to accidentally delete your fingerprint and keep theirs. You want to always make sure that you keep theirs. So I like to always label them. You can just hit edit and then label. That way I know exactly which fingerprint it is. So if we take a look and we go back out and we lock our phone, if we take a look here, we can use our thumbprint just like that. Now it's going to require you to type in your passcode the first time. Don't worry, you didn't do it wrong. After that, you can go back in and then use your thumbprint just like that. And then you can access your iPhone just like that. So we're going to show you a couple more features in just a second. Now we're going to show you a little bit about the control panel. Now the control panel is a really cool feature that we have that you just have to swipe up from the bottom to access. As you can see here, this is what the control panel looks like. The control panel may seem a little bit hard at first, but it's actually very useful and pretty easy to master. So what you want to know is up here are some of your easy to access toggles. You used to have to go into the settings and change these manually, but now you can just change them by accessing any of these toggles. What we have is our airplane mode. To enable that, you can just press it. What that'll do is it'll disable all connectivity to the outside world, including Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and cellular. Now you can individually enable and disable Wi-Fi right here, just using the Wi-Fi. Same with Bluetooth. Do not disturb. Now what do not disturb does is, say you're going to go to sleep, you turn on do not disturb, and then you turn off your phone, and you're not going to get any push notifications, any kind of sounds or anything like that while you're sleeping, or while you're in a business meeting or anything like that. So basically it tells your phone not to disturb you. Orientation lock's pretty cool too. What that will do is it'll keep it on portrait mode. So when you go into landscape, it's going to still stay in portrait. This is really useful. Say you're lying down and you're reading, and you want to keep it in portrait mode, you're going to enable the orientation lock, and that's what's going to help you. Now underneath that, we do have our brightness settings. You can turn up and down the brightness, which is very useful right from the screen. If you have music playing, you can hit play, you can turn up and down the volume, skip tracks, go back, you can scrub back and forth, and that's basically your controls for that. Now AirDrop, this is basically to, you can either choose who you want to be visible to. I'd like to choose contacts only. Now you can enable it all in the settings, so you're going to have to type in your iCloud, Apple ID, and password. We'll be right back after we input ours. So once you've done that, you can see here that we have all of these different toggles for iCloud. We'll talk about those in a little bit, but we get back to the control panel just by swiping up like that again. And now we can use our AirDrop just by hitting AirDrop. I'm going to choose contacts only. You can choose who you'd like to AirDrop to. And basically, you can AirDrop different things. So you want to AirDrop photos and all that stuff. This is basically a toggle to tell people if you want to be off and disconnected from AirDrop, or if you want to turn on AirDrop. And when AirDrop's on, you can actually receive different images, messages, different things that people want to share with you directly to your phone. So it's a really unique toggle that you can have right here. I like to keep it off, except when I actually want to AirDrop things. Now at the bottom here, we do have a quick access to our flashlight. You used to have to get third-party flashlight apps. Well, right now you have a flashlight. You don't even have to open up the camera, and you just tap again to turn it off. You've got quick links to your timer, which will let you, maybe if you're cooking something, you can start and pause. We'll go into that a little bit later. We also have quick links for our calculator right here, which will bring you right into the calculator. And we have a quick link for our camera. And that is essentially how to use the control panel. Remember, you just swipe up. If you want to get rid of it without doing anything, swipe back down. And you can access this from any page. There's also a setting where you can change which page you want to be able to access it in. Now I'm just going to show you a quick little way to access your notification center. You just want to swipe down and you'll be able to see everything that you want to know. So it's going to tell you what's in your calendar, what the weather looks like today. You can scroll down, you can see some stocks, you can see tomorrow if you have anything scheduled on your calendar. You can see all of your things. Since I just got the iPhone 5S today, obviously, it's not going to show me anything else, but you can also see missed notifications. That's just an easy way, just by swiping down on any page, to view your notification center. You can also change which apps can use notifications. We'll be showing you that when we get into some of the settings a little bit later in the video. So whenever you close an application, it doesn't actually go away instantly. It goes into a place we call multitasking. It's in the background, it's not currently doing anything, but it's kind of like a frozen state. So to access that multitasking menu, you just gotta double tap on the home button. Now it's really important to clear out your multitasking once in a while, because what that'll do is it'll help save you battery. Now, you can view your multitasking just by scrolling over, and you can actually see both the icon at the bottom and a screenshot of all the different apps you have open, along with the home screen. To open up one of those applications, you only have to tap on it, and it seamlessly opens up that app. If you go back into multitasking, say you want to get rid of something like the camera, just swipe up, and that's how to get rid of anything in the multitasking itself. So that's how to activate the multitasking. It's really easy to go back and forth between apps, but also to close the multitasking as well. Now to power off your phone, all you gotta do is press and hold on the lock button until this screen pops up. You're gonna slide to power off, and what that will do is completely power down your phone. That's different from just standard locking it by pressing the lock button and then unlocking it. This actually goes into the full off mode. To turn it back on, once it's completely done, which it's not done yet, all you gotta do is press and hold the lock button again until it comes back on. So we're just gonna do that. It'll come up with the Apple logo. It'll take just a second to load up, and then you'll be right back in. You wanna make sure you do this periodically so that you don't have any issues. If you keep it on the whole time, it's the equivalent of only putting your computer to sleep as opposed to shutting it down. You want to make sure that you give it some time to end all the processes and kind of like wake itself back up. So that's what you need to do. Now the only downside is you just do have to put in whatever your passcode is before for the first time after restarting, but then after that you will be able to just use your thumbprint. Now we're going to show you how to use Siri. To use Siri, press and hold on the home button. Hello, Siri.
Hi, Alaric.
Now Siri didn't pronounce my name right. It's actually pronounced Alaric. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Siri the command, that's not how you pronounce that. That's not how you pronounce that.
Okay, how do you pronounce the name?
Alaric.
Okay, thank you. Which pronunciation should I use?
Now you can test any of these pronunciations that she does and choose the one that's most like your name.
Alaric, 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 Alaric.
So this is most like what my name actually sounds like.
Okay,
so I'm going to choose that.
How do you pronounce the name?
Heck.
Okay.
Then you can do the same thing for your last name.
Which pronunciation should I use? Heck, 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 heck. Got it. It's Alaric Heck from now on.
And that's how to change Siri pronunciation of your name. Now, besides having Siri recite back your name and do it properly, you can also use Siri to initiate a bunch of different commands. Now, I'm just going to show you a couple of them, but also to see what commands Siri can do, just press on this little help button, and you can see a lot more commands that I'm going to show you guys today. However, I'm just going to show you a couple of them just to get you started. Launch calculator. And boom, it just launched whatever app you tell it to. You can even say Angry Birds. It can be any application that you want. You can have Siri launch it instantly. Now, just a couple other things. Search the web for App Find.
What would you like to search for, Alaric?
App Find.
My web search turned this up.
And as you can see, you can search the web for whatever you would like. I searched it for App Find, and then you can just click on the results and go straight there. So that's definitely a really cool feature. So I recommend giving that a try because it's a lot faster than actually typing the search. You can also have Siri dictate text by saying, send a text to and then whoever, and then say the message. I'm not going to show you that right now, but you can do that. I recommend experimenting with Siri and going through that help guide. It really helps a lot. Now to access your Spotlight search, which is basically your way to find anything on your iPhone, just press down anywhere on the screen and pull down. That will bring up this little search area, and you can search for pretty much anything on your iPhone. Say you want to search for the calculator, you can just search for calculator just like that, then launch it. You can search for contacts, you can search for apps, you can search for pretty much anything, even emails, right here in the Spotlight search. It's definitely a really great feature. Now, to move around icons, because I know you guys are going to want to do that at some point, all you got to do is press and hold, and then you can move it around, just like that. Once it enters its jiggle mode. And to group a couple of apps together, all you got to do is hold it on top of the other app. It will create a folder. Now you can label that folder whatever you'd like just by hitting the X. You can title it Utilities or something like that. And you can put unlimited apps in the folder. You can actually have multiple pages in the folder as well. And you can just put more apps in the folder just by sliding them right onto the folder. Now to get rid of the folder, you're just going to open it up, drag apps right out. Once you've dragged all of the apps out of the folder will automatically disappear. And that's pretty much how to move around all of the different apps that are on your iPhone. Now let's take a look at some of the stock apps that come right with the iPhone 5S. First, let's take a look at messages. Now, to compose a new message, you're just going to go to the To tab, and you can add any of your contacts by hitting the plus button. You can type out their name, and it'll instantly include it in the field. You can type in their phone number, whatever you'd like, and you can create a new message to them. Now, you can type in the message by going over here. You can see all your past messages. You can say something like hello or something like that. You can just hit send to send the message to them. But you can also attach images by clicking on this little camera area. You can take a photo by take photo or video, or you can choose one from your photo library. You just take a photo. You can hit use photo. You can retake. That was a little bit blurry. So you can take a photo, use photo. Just going to put the photo right in there. All you got to do is hit send. And if the person you're sending to has iMessage, it'll automatically turn into iMessage. Now, you can view a full list of all your different messages that you have going on right now. You can search for messages. You can craft a new message just by using this new message button at the top right. And that's how to use the messages area. Now, to access the calendar, just go into the calendar. And what you could do is you can view everything that you have for that day. You can go back to the month. You can take a month view and go to each individual day. And you can go through it. You can change calendars. You can see your inbox. You can pretty much check everything out that has to do with either Google Calendar or whatever kind of calendar you want to sync up to it. There's a couple different calendar programs out there. I prefer Google Calendar, and that's what I sync up with it as well. But the calendar is pretty much self-explanatory. It's basically just choose where you want to go, and it has a calendar there. Now, your camera, what that'll let you do is take photos. Now, you want to take a photo just like this. You can actually use your volume rocker to take the picture. So you can just click the picture just like that with your volume rocker. You can also use the button. So you can use the button or the volume rocker. Both work equally well. Now, to focus a picture, all you got to do is tap where you want it to focus, and it'll focus there instantly. Now, you can also take square Instagram style pictures and a panoramic picture. Panoramic, you're just going to go around like that. You can pretty much figure that one out on your own, but those are pretty cool. Now, you can record video by going into the video area. So you just record a video, and then you can stop the video. And you can also switch around to your front-facing camera just like that, and you can turn flash on and off. Now you can also go to slow-mo video, which will record in 120 frames per second, which is pretty cool. But yeah, for the photos, to switch back and forth between the camera view, you just switch right here, that little switch. You can also turn flash on or off, or auto, and you can turn on and off HDR, high definition photos. So there's definitely pretty cool features. You can also go into this area over here. You can choose a couple of the different effects that are available. There's not that many, but there are a couple to get you started. So those are basically all the different ways to use the camera app. Obviously, once you take pictures, it'll appear in Photos. Now, Photos has them all grouped by location, also time frame, so I'm not going to show you guys that right now because obviously, you know, it would give away personal information, but you can just go into Photos and you can take a look there. You can see all your cool photos. So it's definitely a pretty cool way to see them. Now, also, we've got a couple other stock apps we'll be showing you in just a second. We'll be right back after the break with more iPhone 5S features. So let's take a look at some of the other stock apps that come included in the iPhone 5S. You have the weather app, and just showing Beverly Hills right now, you can see that you've got Friday, which is today. You can see an hour by hour just by scrolling through here. Highs and lows, you can see in the future a little bit more in depth. That's definitely really cool. I like the weather app. They've definitely done a great job overhauling it from what it used to be. They've got a couple images in the background, tells you it's cloudy, tells you the degrees. So that's definitely a really cool feature that's evolved right into the weather app. Now you've got your clock app next, which isn't just a clock, it's got a bunch of different features. As you can see, you can get a world clock, you can just add new clocks basically anywhere you'd like, just search a city. We've got Cupertino in New York put in automatically. Then what we also have is the alarms. You can set an alarm just by hitting the plus button right here, add it for whatever time you want. You can have it repeat, so say you want to wake up every day at 8 o'clock in the morning, you can just do that. You can set the label to alarm if you want to set it to something like wake up or something like that. You can also set the sound. There's a bunch of different sounds to choose from, and you can also choose to snooze or not if you want to allow it to snooze. And then you hit save and you'll have that alarm. You can also toggle on and off alarms. Stopwatch works just like a standard stopwatch, not a lot of, pretty much self-explanatory there. Timer works just like a normal timer, pretty much self-explanatory there as well. You just hit start, pause, reset, all that good stuff. So that's basically how to work that. Now, I'm not going to go into maps right now. Obviously, that would, you know, give away some personal information. However, you can go into the maps. It works just like a standard GPS system. It's not super hard to do. I prefer Google Maps, but you can still use the regular Apple Maps. Just going to type in where you want to go at the top and input your directions. That's basically it. You can look at videos to see all the cool videos that you have. I don't have any right now, but you can watch videos over at the videos if you have like movies you downloaded. New notes, you can just add a new note. You can type whatever you want, like hey, you can hit done. You can trash notes, you can email notes. You'll be able to scroll through all your notes, see what time you put those notes there. So it's pretty cool to keep track of everything. So we can just open up the Reminders app right here. You can create different lists just by hitting New List. You can make a whole different subsection. We've got the Reminders list right here. And you can add new reminders like take out the trash or something like that. And you can actually set it for a certain time. So remind me on a day, you can tell it when to remind you, and you can set the priority to none or super high, however you want, and basically you can actually have it remind you to take out the trash. When you're done, you're just going to tick it over here, and it'll mark it as complete. You can also delete it over here by hitting delete as well. And that's how to set up your reminders right in the Reminders app. Stocks. Absolutely self-explanatory. It just shows you the stocks. Doesn't look like it's doing that good right now. Google's up. Fortunately, Apple's down a little bit. But basically, you can take a look at stocks right there. Newsstand. You can see right here we've got our newsstand. You can hit the store and you can search for any kind of magazines that you want. New York Times, all that stuff. I actually personally think New York Times is way overpriced, but they've got a lot of great stuff over there as well. Now right next to there, we've got Game Center, which is going to have your Game Center profile. You can play with all your friends, see what their scores are. Not going to go in there right now. I don't want to show off my Game Center profile, but you can check that out and you can actually view your Game Center, for your friends' Game Center, all that cool stuff. iTunes Store is going to load up basically where you can buy all of your music from, and you can purchase stuff. You like music, you can purchase movies, you can listen to little previews, all right here in the iTunes Store. And then right next to that's the App Store. We're going to come into that in just a second. Now, Passbook will allow you to add something like Starbucks Passbook. There's a lot of different apps that you can include in the Passbook that allows you to easily go into restaurants and use the Passbook. for that as well. Compass, not going to go into that right now, personal information wise, but you can go to the compass. It'll show you north, south, east, west, that kind of thing, right in the compass. Now you've got your phone. To go into the phone, just click on phone. Obviously use the keypad right here, just as standard, and then you hit call. View your voicemail at the bottom, contacts, recent, and favorites. You can set people as your favorites. This is basically the phone functionality. Any of you guys who ever had any type of phone for that matter should know how to use the phone function. Mail, not going to go into that right now. However, you can click on the mail. It'll have a list view of all of the mail that you can scroll through. You can delete messages by swiping over. You delete them. And it's pretty simple. It's pretty self-explanatory. Now, let's check out the really cool Safari. You can go to pages like Apple, for instance, and you can view the page. You can do whatever you'd like. You can also share pages just by hitting this little up button. You can use AirDrop to send to anybody near you. You can also message, email, Twitter, Facebook, add to reading lists, add to home screen. You can copy it. You can print it. There's a lot of great features that they have right here. And you can also view all of your different pages right here, add a new page just by hitting this little plus button. You can hit private to start a new private page where they're not going to track you. It's not going to be logged into the history, whatever you'd like. So basically those are all of the great features involved in the Safari app. We have the music app. You can just hit music, you listen to iTunes Radio. You've got your playlists, artists, songs, and more, so you can view all of your different music right here on your iPhone 5S. Now if we swipe over, you also got your couple of extras, which include your contacts and your calculator. Contacts, you're going to have all your contacts and add new contacts by hitting the little plus button. But you also got your calculator right here, standard calculator, 89 times 65 equals 5,785. A neat trick, you can turn it over. Wow, it's a scientific calculator. So that's something not a lot of people know about, but you can actually just twist it just like that, and it turns into a scientific calculator that you can use. And that's, we also have the voice memos, which allows you to record voice memos. So, remind me to take out the trash. And you can do that. And so that way you can do easy to remember voice memos. Just hit done. And then you can save that if you'd like as well. And then you can also go to FaceTime. You can FaceTime with your friends. So that's a pretty cool feature. Now, one thing I actually forgot to show you is how to use Siri to dictate. You can go over here, new note, you can press down, you can hit this little button right on the bottom over here. Alright, so what I want Siri to dictate is what I am speaking about right now. I really love the iPhone 5S. And it does it absolutely perfectly, as you can see right here. It's really done pretty much everything. The ironic part is they did not put the S automatically at the end of the 5, but other than that, they did everything. It's just a little bit iffy on punctuation, but it's really good at keeping some cool notes. And those are some of the pretty cool features that they have right here in the iPhone 5S. Now I'm just going to quickly show you how to use the App Store. Now right when you go into the App Store, it's not going to pop up here, it's going to pop up with Featured. It's going to show you all the cool apps that you might want to get, but first it's going to tell you, do you want to download all of Apple's stock apps? Say yes, because they're all free. They actually didn't used to be free. It includes Find My Friends, so you can view where your friends are. Podcasts, you can listen to podcasts. Find My iPhone. If you lose your iPhone, you want to have that set up because it'll help you locate it again. iTunes U, it's got pretty much some kind of university stuff. It talks about any kind of thing that you want to further your education with. Numbers, it's basically just numbers for the iPhone, so you can go in here. It actually used to cost $9.99, believe it or not, but you can create brand new numbers. You can create all of these really cool features right here. Keynote, create an entire keynote presentation right on your iPhone. Now I hope you're not doing your college keynote presentations on your phone before you get to class, but hey, who am I to judge? You can use that. You also have iBooks, iPhoto, which allow you to edit photos, all that cool stuff. Pages, which allows you to have a rich text editor. I really like Pages, it's really useful. And iMovie, which will allow you to edit really cool movies right on here. And those are basically the stock apps that are involved. Now, right here in the App Store, you can download stuff. If we go to the top charts, you can buy things. Now, if you've already purchased things, you got this little cloud button. That's the iCloud download button. Just hit that and you can download it for free. That means you've already purchased it. Now you can also download free apps, and I'll just show you how to get one of these really cool apps here. Say you wanted just to, let's find one that I don't have already right here. Besides that, let's just say you wanted to get download Vine, and you can just hit free install, and what it's going to do is it's going to ask you to scan your fingerprint or put in your password. I've scanned my fingerprint, hit OK, and whatever app you want to download downloads. As you can see, it downloads right here in the background. Once it's done, you can hit pause also as well. Now you can read the reviews, you can check out related, but you can also watch my reviews obviously on App Find right here. We've got all the best app reviews for all the latest apps. Now to download iCloud app that you already purchased, it's even easier. Say you want Where's My Water 2, just hit that little button and it's going to start to download instantly like that. Now there's a couple other things you can do. Say you really wanted an app but didn't have maybe enough funds to get it yet. Just press this button, add to wish list, and basically what that does is it puts it into a little wish list that you can view up here, and then you can buy it later either when you have enough money or when you decide you want to. So those are definitely really cool. Now updates, you can go over to the updates area. You can actually have apps auto update. You can choose to do that. You can also view all your purchased apps. That's how to use the App Store in the iPhone 5S. Now let's take a look at some of the settings you can change in the iPhone 5S. If we go over to settings, what we can do is we can change a couple of really cool features. You can toggle on and off airplane mode. You can connect to Wi-Fi. All you got to do is turn on Wi-Fi and then connect to whatever Wi-Fi location you have. Just select it, you type in your password. Now you can turn on and off Bluetooth, and these are different devices that'll connect to Bluetooth. If you have a Bluetooth keyboard, if you have a Bluetooth headset, you can connect all of those. Now cellular, what you're able to do is turn on cellular data, LTE, roaming, create a personal hotspot, see how much calls and data you've downloaded. You can also choose which apps you want to use cellular for. Say you don't want to use cellular for Safari, you only want to use it on Wi-Fi, just do that. Same thing with stocks. If you want stocks to only use Wi-Fi, you can disable that or enable cellular on whatever we want. In the notification center, what you can do is you can see which notification to access on the lock screen if you want notifications view at all, and then today's view. You can also choose what you want to view in today's view, and also whether or not you want to set it manually. Now you can actually specifically choose which apps you want to have push notifications. So if you go into say for instance reminders, you can choose which type, if you want alerts, banners, or none at all. You can choose badge icon, you can choose what the reminder alert sounds like, you can choose whether or not to show it in Notification Center, and include how many items you want to include. You can also choose whether or not it's going to be in the lock screen. So say for instance you want to add messages as a certain notification. You might not want it to show up in your lock screen because you might not want whatever text you have to show up in your lock screen. You can disable that. Control Center, what that does is it just shows you where you want to enable the Control Center, either in the lock screen or within apps. And Do Not Disturb will let you change some of your Do Not Disturb settings. You can choose if you want it scheduled. If you know you're always going to be sleeping between the hours like 10 and 8, you can set that up for scheduled in Do Not Disturb. Pretty simple stuff though. We get into general in just a second. Now sounds, you can choose if you want it to vibrate while it's ringing or vibrate when it's silent. You always want to have that enabled because what that'll let you do is have the standard vibrate features when you're silent. Now you can turn on how loud you want your ringer to be, and you can also change it with the buttons whether or not you want to do that. Set all your really cool ringtones, text tones, voicemail tones. Now they got a lot of cool tones. I like that one, so I'm going to set that one as my text tone. So you can choose whatever tone you want. Same for mail. Pretty much everything else here. And that's how you can set up all of these different tones. Now you can go back. You can check out wallpapers and brightness. turn up and down the brightness, turn on auto brightness. What that'll do is it'll decide whether or not it wants to be bright or not. But you can choose wallpaper by going over here. You can actually add dynamic wallpapers, which are moving wallpapers. If you take a look here, they're actually moving, which is pretty cool. It's not just Android anymore that has those moving wallpapers, it's also on the iPhone. You can also check out any of Apple's stills and look at your camera roll and photo stream. So if you wanted to change what you want, then all you got to do is hit set, and then set for lock screen, home screen, or both. Lock screen's on the outside, home screen is with all the apps, and both obviously will set it for both the lock screen and the home screen. Now if we go back out over here, we've got privacy. Now, I'm not going to show you how to set up your privacy. You know how to set up your privacy. You know what you want. So you can just experiment with here. Basically, you can change everything. If you don't want ad tracking, go to advertisements and disable ad tracking. There's a lot of different features here. I'm not going to show you all of them, but basically, just look at your privacy settings and figure out what you want to enable or not. It's not life or death. However, if you want privacy, I'd recommend going into those settings. Now iCloud, you can set up your iCloud system. You can set it up to also back up via iCloud, which is pretty useful. That's also another great tool that you can use. And you can also check out mail, contacts, and calendars. What that'll let you do is change what contacts and mail that you have in here. Now the rest of these are pretty much all individually for each of the apps, so you can change each of the apps setups individually. So you can go into like Safari and do not track privacy. It would take forever to show you all of these features, so I recommend if you know you want to change something, just going in specifically to change it. Also, each app that you download will have its own set of settings, so pretty much there's a lot of different settings that could be there. I just recommend experimenting and finding out what you want to do. Now to go into general, you can see about and software update. Software update will be where you can download over-the-air updates. If, say for instance, iOS 7.0.1 comes out, you can download those. Underneath that, Siri, you can let them know who you are. You can actually change the voice gender to male if you would like. You can turn on and off Siri, you know, save battery, that kind of thing. Spotlight search, you can say what order you want. So say you want audio box above videos, that's simple. You can also delete things if you don't want them to show up. Text size, if you can't read the text as well, you can actually turn it up or turn it down if you want to fit more text in. Accessibility, what that'll let you do is change certain things. You can actually turn on bold text, hearing aids, invert colors. There's a lot of different things that you can choose. Those are mainly if maybe you have a disability or you just want to bold your text because it looks cooler. Either way is fine by Apple. They'll let you do that in accessibility. Usage will let you know what apps are taking up what space. You can see how many gigabytes are being used out of how many gigabytes you have available. You can also see how many backups are stored and all that stuff. You can also turn on battery percentage, which will tell you how much battery you have left. I actually like to enable that, so that's pretty cool. You can turn on auto lock. I usually set it for like 3 minutes, but you can turn on whatever you want. Basically, that's however long idling it is before it'll automatically turn itself off. Now you can turn on, obviously I already showed you passcode and fingerprint restrictions for, say if you have kids, you're going to let them use your iPhone. You can turn on restrictions to restrict the internet or whatever you'd like. Date and time, you can change the date and time. Keyboard, to add emoji keyboard, you're going to go into keyboards. You're going to go into add a new keyboard. You can go down, 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 and choose emoji. And now you have the emoji keyboard. To switch into the emoji keyboard, if we go into notes, new note, just click on the world button and you can access emoji keyboard. Click back to access your regular keyboard. So we're going to multitask back into settings and click back. So those are the keyboard settings. They also have iTunes Wi-Fi sync, VPN, and reset, which you don't want to do unless you really need to reset your device. And those are basically all of the cool setting features available in the iPhone 5S. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I hope you guys learned something today. If you did, be sure to subscribe. I got lots of other great videos on the best iPhone 5S apps, on the best iPhone 5S games. We got great videos on all of the cool stuff you need to know about your iPhone 5S. Once again, I'm Matt from AppFind. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys later. Bye.